So, why did I really buy a 450? Well, let me show you. All right, so this isn't any old 450 FX. The reason why Nosy Joe bought this bike is because it is the bike that Broc Hepler raced in 2017. If you guys aren't familiar with Broc, he raced motocross in the early 2000s, had a bad accident in 2006 or 7, concussion, and never really regained his abilities there, but then later on became a woods racer. He's kind of in the Pennsylvania area and started winning some races. Got noticed by the Gas team, became part of the Gas team in 2016 under the East Coast Gas team manager John Barber. Raced a 300 two-stroke gas that 2016 year, pretty much dominated the ACES, which is Appalachian Championship Enduro Series. Pretty much dominated that in 2016. And then in 2017, still with John Barber's team, raced this Husqvarna 450 FX. You can see his name there. PR2 is who did his suspension. They're out there in Pennsylvania. Like I mentioned, this bike originally would have had air forks. Now it has a hybrid fork on there. You see that PR2 makes. It's still an air type fork, has an air and coil spring setup, but not the original WP setup. They also use, you can get in there and see, they also have their own linkage set up for PR2. Changes the geometry some. You'll have to look on their website. Here's a better view of it. And then it's got the PR2 shock. So that's all set up professionally for Broc. Of course, he's a lot faster rider than I am. Nova Racing here. So you'll see that late in the 2017 series, he ran a race for breast cancer awareness and won that. He's sponsored by Mica bars or Mica metals, so he's got their bars as well as their sprockets on there. Let's just go over some of the winning that Broc did on this bike. The big deal at the end of the season in 2017 was he won the full gas sprint enduro, but he won prior to that a total of 7 races between April and October in the AWRCS, which is the American Woods Racing Championship Series. Started out at Coal Hollow in April. If he didn't win, he placed pretty well each time, but won 7 times, ending up at the Rock Run Double. Really good series. Like I said, I feel like I was really lucky to get this bike. The only thing I don't have that he raced with was the Seat Concepts seat, so I'm not sure what happened to that. This has got a brand new seat on it, but I'll throw up some pictures of Broc racing on this bike. And you might ask the question, well, how do you know this is really his bike? Well, I've seen a lot of pictures on Instagram, which I can share, but the best documentation I have of it is, besides his Instagram pictures, which line up, I mean, it's got the G2, it always has the G2 bark busters. Like I said, he's got the G2 throttle tamer on there, but they ended up at the end of his year giving this bike away. It was a raffle bike here, and you can find this on Broc's Instagram page, but it talks about the PR2 suspension, bulletproof design radiator braces and guards, which it has. Lenovo Racing graphics kit, of course, that can just be stuck on there, but this is the original one, I'm sure of it. G2 ergonomics, throttle tube and bark busters, I mentioned that. Dunlop Geomax tires. Now It's got the rear one on there, not the front anymore. Seat concept seat, not anymore. Husky hard part skid plate. Well, it definitely has that. And that's kind of unique, and you can tell that that's the same skid plate he ran in many of the pictures. And then the TM Designs chain guard is the last thing it mentions. And if you follow his Instagram page, you can look it up. You know, one thing that had me worried when I was trying to verify the bike is this PR2 sticker is always on the right side fork in many of the photos. But what I believe they did, because it's always here, is before they gave away the bike, they had the suspension freshened up, because previously this sticker always is dated in June of 17, and then right before they gave it away, the sticker appears on the left side. He gave it away in March, and this has a February 18 date on it. And then after that, he got on the Kawasaki team, so you see that he started riding Kawasaki in the 2018 race year after giving this bike away in March of 2018. What further proof do I have? Well, I have the title, and although it doesn't have Broc's name on it, you might not expect to really have the racer's name on it anyway, but I have the title that matches that VIN. And this bike I got out of Ohio, and in Ohio it shows the previous owner's name on there, and the previous owner of this bike was John Barber, who was Broc's team manager in 2016 and 17. So that makes a lot of sense that it would not have actually had Broc's name on the title, but would have had the Gas Husqvarna team manager's name on the title, which it does. So pretty cool. Happy I could get that. And it's a really nice bike. So I think that's maybe why I didn't have much trouble riding it. It's a really set up for enduro racing bike, a very winning bike with race history. So it wasn't just like hopping on a stock Husqvarna. That suspension on there by PR2, it just floats. It's a really nice setup. So what I'm saying is these FX 450s, I wouldn't be afraid of a 450. Nice bike, does everything well, except possibly go super slow. And if I were going to race this bike, I think what I would do is just maybe gear it down a little bit more. Maybe go to a 12 tooth front sprocket, something like that. Or maybe go to like a 52 in the rear, and I think it would handle it pretty well. But with the modes, the map switches, the traction control settings, this is a very easy to ride 450, very linear power. I would highly recommend one, and isn't it cool that I actually got my hands on Broc's old bike. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Neat story. Proud to have it. I don't know Broc, but seems like a cool guy, school teacher, and I'll try to take care of his bike well. You guys have a good one. Stay safe out there. Later.